Welcome to Conversations with Toy, a blogcast tackling life one episode at a time. This is the time to air out life's craziest moments. This space is all about speaking about life's hang-ups and ways in which we can leave better than when we started. Topics are all about ways we can find space to be better in life, love, mental space, and health.
Happy Friday. I hope that you have had the absolute best week ever. If this is the first time that you are tuning in to Conversations with Toy, I just want to say welcome. I am your podcaster. My name is LaToy, but I go by Toy. I am not only a podcaster, I am a content creator. I am a blogger, freelance writer, all of the things, wearing lots of hats. I'm also a wife and a mother of 3. So yeah, have my hands full. But one thing that I always will love is to make sure that I encourage everybody to do their best, especially in these days and times. This is going to be the last episode of season 10. We are not going anywhere. We are going to be back for season 11, but we always take a little break once we hit about 20 episodes. This is the 20th episode, plus there was a bonus episode where we talked about Black maternal health. And as always, during this break, I will pop in every now and again and make sure that if there's something happening, I'm going to talk about it because that's what I do. And I'm so grateful. So thank you for listening to this podcast. There are 1,000,001 different topics that you can look up. We talk about families, going no contact, mental health and wellness, things that's happening on these internet streets. I cover it all. So thank you for listening and being such a great audience. And again, I am super happy to have you listening and having you here, no matter what you're doing. It is officially summer. Summertime is here. The first day of summer happened yesterday, but I can still say happy official summer. Summer is one of my favorite times. I love summer, and then we go right into my next holiday or my next season, which is fall. So summer and fall are my absolute best, and I don't really know which one is higher than the other. I really don't, because I really love them the same. The reason why I love summer is just for the lightness of everybody. Everybody's kind of light and free. Everybody just has those summer waves about them. People are a little bit nicer, sorry to say, around the summertime. And again, I love to be in the heat. So we're experiencing a little bit of a heat wave here in Philadelphia, and I'm like in my glory, like send me outside, like let me get this summer tan. I love summer tan lines. It is something about them. It's usually about the end of August going into September. I'm outside the absolute most because I want to get those deep tan lines. And the reason is that it actually allows me to hold on to summer just a little longer when those tan lines begin to fade. Makes me know that I was out here doing what I could to have a life, to experience a life, and to do all the things that needed to be done. So for that makes me excited and happy. I absolutely love that aspect of it. I love the fact that we can go and sit out on patios and drink and cookouts. I like cookouts, but I like cookouts a little bit more small scale. Maybe it's because of the content creation that I get invited to a lot of things. And sometimes being in a lot of rooms with a lot of people, you kind of crave smaller spaces. And I'm also a small space girl. Get me in a room with like 10 people that I completely vibe with, and we gonna have a time. Like we gonna have the time where you kind of don't even look at your watch. You don't even know what time it is. I actually experienced that yesterday at an event at a summer patio at El Pastor in Havertown. And yeah, we drank, we ate, we cackled. Oh my God. Next thing you know, it was light. Next thing you know, we left, it was definitely dark. So those are the type of vibes that I'm on. Summer just allows for that. Summer reading. I know summer reading for children, that are going back into school and things, but even for adults, like you need to have a summer reading list. And listen, if you say, I don't know, I don't have all that, I'm gonna help you, because I'm going to put that summer list right in the show notes. So go ahead and click on the show notes, get your summer reading on, because again, I want you to, get a little bit more relaxed. I make sure that I have a book or some type of notebook on me at all times, because again, you just never know when the spirit is going to lead. If you're at a party, or let's say you're at an appointment with one of your kids, or even by yourself, just whip out a book and read instead of scrolling, because once you start that scrolling, you ain't going to stop. So welcome to the summer. Now, if this is not your favorite time of the year, maybe you just absolutely you hate everything about summer, I'm just going to tell you to make the best of it. Travel, see some world, see something, do something, and get out there and experience life. Also, happy Juneteenth. We just celebrated that this week. And Juneteenth is just an expression of freedom. To know that, again, news didn't travel as fast as it does now. And to know that there were a certain amount of people down the South that didn't even know that slavery was abolished. And to celebrate the fact that we're all free-ish. And we're trying to become exactly that, have more freedom, so that people can, even in this modern day time, people always say that racism doesn't exist. And I'm like, what rock are you living under? When you go to apply for a home loan and they deny you because of your name, or they look you up and they deny you because you're Black, or they don't want you to move into certain neighborhoods because they feel like you're going to bring the property value down. These things happen every single time. You go into the gym and somebody doesn't want to use the equipment just because you used it. These are things that happened so long ago, but still happen today. And the fact that there are people who deny, I wonder, the fact that if you can deny it, it's because you have the privilege of not having to live in it. When you have to live in this, there's no getting around it. There is no getting around it whatsoever, because every single day, everything that you do is engulfed with the thought of knowing. Like, not thinking, but knowing how life really is and how life really works. So, happy Juneteenth, and thank God for being free-ish. So now that we are in our summertime vibes, we talked about making sure that you have your summer reading. Kids are, of course, doing their reading, like I said, but we want the adults to increase and get their reading as well. But let's talk about summer and mindfulness. Here's the thing. Summertime makes you feel a little bit more relaxed. You kind of tend to go away from your schedule, and then everybody gears up for the fall and they want to start, getting into their schedules, because again, you have kids going back to school, you have all these different movements, and I completely understand that, and I'm suggesting that you do just that. Here's a couple of things that I want to just bring to your thought process as we talk about the summer. One, make sure that you're safe. And everything that you do, you need to be aware. Unfortunately, in the world that we live in, we can't have the thought process of kind of like letting our guards down, because letting our guards down could cause a gamut of things. So I want you to just be aware. When you go out and you're out and about, you don't have to look paranoid, but you should know and be aware of your surroundings. You should know and be aware of the people that are around you. When something looks out of place, trust yourself. Your gut tells you something, don't deny it, because you want to stay safe. I want us to all make it throughout the summer. I want us to all make sure that we're doing what we can. I live here in Philadelphia, and as you know, Philadelphia is just doing the worst. Now, according to the stats, it's decreasing. I don't really know how, but from my vantage point, I'm not seeing what the stats are showing. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world. It doesn't matter where you go in the world. You just have to be more cautious. I want you, I've met so many women, and I'm not saying that this is not for men, because it's for everybody, men, women, all the people, all the things. I want you to get out and try to do a solo trip. Let me tell you about how solo trips will literally show you and it awaken you. A lot of people say, oh, I don't know what my passions are, and they go through all these different little levels. But here's the thing. Sometimes people don't understand what their passions are because they don't get out and they don't figure that out. And one way to figure that out is travel. I want you to find at least one solo trip. Now, I get it. Everybody's money ain't long, and you probably have your money allocated. I get that. Trust me. I got kids in private school. I got, their tuition's already coming out the account. Like, there's a lot of things happening. We have bills like everybody else, but I want you to try to find some type of solo trip. Now, here's how you can break a solo trip down. If you don't have a lot of money, I can understand that. So here's what you could do. I want you to at least get on a train, get on the bus, get on a plane, and go to another city. Maybe stay in your state, but you go into a different city and you explore that city. and do things that you like to do. One of the things about solo trips is that you don't have to share your snacks with nobody. You don't have to get up on somebody else's schedule, which is the one reason why I'm not a true fan of group and girls trips. It's not that I don't like them. I just don't like the fact that when you have to have the right people. Because if you go on a girls trip and the first thing you do when you get back is say, I never want to go with them again, you've already known you've picked the wrong people. But when it comes to solo trips, your time is of your own. When I went to Arizona, and I went to Sedona, and I went to different places in Arizona. I went to the Grand Canyons. I did all these different things because I wanted to get out and see the world. And I wanted to see life, and I wanted to see other places, and it felt good. Like, I like the heat, so it was like 102, 105, easy, but it was dry heat. So I was out every day. I was by the pool. I got to sleep in a few times. I did so many activities. And yes, you can do activities by yourself on a solo trip. Here's how I would suggest you do it. I wrote a blog, which I will put into the show notes, but I also did things like take a tour. A lot of places have touring companies that you can do some tours with, and I signed myself up and just enjoyed the trips. And so I would get on these bus tours, and we did all these different places. Like when we went to Sedona, we did all the rocks and all the red rocks and all that stuff. We did all of those things. I saw so many different statues and museums and all those different things by doing, group trips with and as a solo person. It's funny because when I would book them, they would call me and be like, did you mean to not put a +1? And I'm like, no, that's me. And they were like, okay, cool. We love that. If we have another solo person, we can just put them with you, because we get calls all the time. Solo people want to go on these different things, but they feel like they have to go because it's coupled up. And I'm like, absolutely not. And I went and I had the most absolute amazing time. Do you understand me? Like, a time was absolutely had. And all of the elements of being outside, eating outside, getting outside, doing adventurous things. I did things that I wouldn't have done here at home. Like, I fly here in Philadelphia, but the very first time I did it in Arizona by myself. I literally signed up for a time, got my Uber, went over there, did it. I was scared out of my mind, but it was like that flying in the air was a symbolism for me for how my whole trip was going to go, because I did that was like my second activity of my trip. My first activity, I wanted to do something a little bit more low key, so I went to like the zoo, and I explored the zoo. And in Arizona, you can feed the giraffe. So that was my first feeding the giraffe, and I'm talking about they get you up close and personal. Like, the giraffe like licked my hand. Like, it was like a whole thing. And I remembered that because it felt good to just be doing things that I enjoy. And so I know we're taught to not, be selfish and look for other people and look out for other people. And I 100% agree with that. But every now and again, you really should consider doing something for yourself. A solo trip will be eye-opening. A solo trip is very much engaging. It's engaging in every possible way. So I'm encouraging you to try to take a solo trip. So if you can't go out of the state, you can't get on a plane, I want you to get on a bus, I want you to get on a train, and I want you to get and find a way to go to a different city, even in your state. If you can't, do a staycation. This means you book even in your city, get yourself a hotel, get change in your environment. And I want you to really put some funds behind this. I don't want you to go to any old rinky-dink. If it says the word inn, if it says the Holiday Inn or something inn or something like that, inn and suites, that's not the hotel you want to get. I want you to put a couple dollars. I want you to put a couple dollars behind you, and I want you to take a weekend, and I want you to wake up in the fluffiest of beds. I want you to have room service delivered to you. I want you to wake up on your time. I want you to get up and like bring a couple things with you. Like, you usually can't bring candles into hotel rooms. That's fine, but you can bring like a little artificial light. You can make sure your view has like a bay window so you can open it up and see the world. Like, just have the sun touch you when you wake up in the morning. Now, I know this sounds like it's over dramatic and it sounds extra, but I want you to do it and report back to me, because I promise you, when you wake up by yourself in a big behind bed and the sun hits you and you get to stretch without a deadline, without having to be somewhere, changes your whole life. And I want you to spend some money, because I want you to have a good bed. Like, I want you to sleep like a princess or a prince. Like, I want you to get in that bed and I want you to feel like this is the life, because you can create these moments for yourself. I know people say on like TikTok and other social media how we over romanticize our lives, but here's the thing: nobody else is going to do it. The only way you can find a way to enjoy life is to actually create the life you wanted. Now, granted, we're not going to all leave from these experiences and go home and our life is just going to all of a sudden be what we want it to be. It usually does not like that. It just doesn't work that way. However, we can do our part to create small moments in our own personal lives. So I suggest a staycation. So that means you can stay in your own city, or you can go to a city nearby and you can just have a staycation. Go to a bed and breakfast. Explore, do things in your city or another city that you might not normally do. Go to a different restaurant. Listen, I know we're used to restaurant chains, but I want you to break the chains that bind, and I want you to explore some of these independent business owners that have amazing food. And I want you to go eat good food. I want you to bring some, if you like a cocktail, or if you don't like a cocktail, you can get a cocktail, alcohol-free one. You can do all these things. You can make a mocktail. You can do all these things. And I want you to experience this summer. Like, you know how many times it's very frustrating when you talk to people and you ask them what you do this summer and they say, nothing. I didn't do nothing. I didn't go anywhere. Every time you talk to your coworker and you see them on the weekend, would you do nothing? Now, here's the thing. Sometimes nothing is a vibe for me. I am running these streets all week long, and the time that I say nothing is because I truly loved it. I want it, and this is what I want to have. Like, these are things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for one of those weekends to do nothing, but very rarely does that happen. So when it does, trust me, I'm in the nothing mode. A couple weeks ago, I finally was able to wake up and keep my pajamas on for a full day and kind of relax and not do anything. I'm here for nothing. But many times people say nothing because they live these lies and they complain and they're so bored. Here is the thing. Even when you don't have money or you don't have a lot of access to money, here's what you need to do. In almost every city, there are things that are free 99. You are already on your phone because you're already listening to this podcast. Most people listen to podcasts on their phones, right? So you're on the go, you're listening to podcasts, you have access to some form of an internet, right? And I want you to get your Google on. One of the things that I know that I do well is when it comes to looking for something, I'm a researcher. I'm going to research it. And so there are free activities. If you live here in Philadelphia and you're going to be here from here on now until all the way to July 4th, there's a gamut of free every single day. There's museums that are free every single day. There's activities that are free every single day. Free 99. So I want you to go ahead and look up the free activities and get there and enjoy them. Because I'm tired of some people who I'm so bored. I tell my kids that boring people that are bored are because the people who are bored just lack the ability to see life at a different perspective. Because when my kids hit me with that bored, I be like, so what are you're just boring, or you just don't, you lacking in your imagination? Because in our house, they have access to all of the things, and not just electronics. My oldest has her own little art studio. You're bored, go create. I tell my kids, even if they're using your phone, create. You shouldn't be just scrolling, watching other people who have created things. I want you to get on there and create. I've given them access to my Canva Pro. One more time. I know a lot of parents be like, I would never give my kids access to the Canva Pro. You need to. Because first of all, my oldest in high school has already been using it. She has a student account. But I also gave her access to my Pro. And my youngest and my middle son, get on there and be an actor. Get on there and create something. Why are you watching other people? In our time, and I know I'm in my 40s, but in my time, we used to do video games. Now my kids are sitting around watching other people play video games. And I'm like, why are you sitting there watching everybody else? You need to get out there and create. So if you're going to be on your phone, create. For everybody that's talking about how they want to have a business and they wish they could do certain things, why are you not creating that? You're sitting at home already boarded, complaining how boarded you are. Get on there and create something. Where's your business plan? Did you create that? Have you researched how much money it's going to take or what resources you need to put in place so that you can make your dreams come true? You need to be on your phone creating, not sitting over there talking about how boarded you are. Create something. So this summer, get creative. Do you know how many arts and art museums and things that are around me or around you that you can go and find ways to create, and sometimes even for free? Free 99. Get out there and actually create. Create. Find ways to be creative. You're already on your phone? Create. You could be doing something that could possibly turn into a side hustle that could turn into your everyday. It could turn into your everyday of life. That's literally how I started my blog. I started as a little side hustle. I was doing it here and there. And first of all, I didn't even start as a side hustle. I actually did it as just something for me to do that I was just giving back to people who may have needed it. And then it turned into a side hustle because then I learned how to monetize it. And at the beginning, I was like monetizing it kind of slow. Then after I did that, it hit. It took off. So then I'm like, okay, now I'm really out here, figuring this out. And then I started networking with other companies and who taught me some things behind the scenes. But what it started with is learning to create, learning to be creative. So I want you to be creative. I want you to take your solo trip, time. And let's say, listen, you don't have no money for a staycation. You don't have any money for a trip. When's the last time you did a day for just you? Right? So that you can manage. You might not be able to manage an overnight trip because you don't want to spend the good $200 or so it's going to take for you to get a good hotel room to spend for the weekend. I can get that. But you can give yourself a day. You can give yourself a day. Give yourself a yes day. The movie say, giving the kids a yes day. You could give yourself a yes day this summer. And that yes day means you get up and if the spirit says, I want to do brunch, go do brunch. Do you have to have other people to do brunch? It's fun. But get out there and brunch. There are tables you can sit at. You can sit by a window. You can do whatever it is that you need to do. But I want you to get out there. Go ahead and do a brunch by yourself. Go get yourself a mani-pedi. Go to the bookstore. Like for me, my perfect day for my yes day is to get up, not cook for my family, get up and go, get myself together and go have a brunch, sit at a bookstore that has an open window, because there are plenty here in Philly that have open windows. Sit at one of those open windows, bring my laptop, do some work in a different environment, eat some good food while I'm sitting there, drink a good cocktail or drink my coffee while I'm sitting there, get up, go to like a makeup store, spend a few dollars there, go and look for a couple of pieces here and there of clothes that I want, go and find something relaxing. And that would be my perfect day because it would be about me. It would be about me. And so you're allowed to have those. So I want you to try to find yourself either a perfect day for yourself, a staycation, or a solo trip. So here's another part that we have to take in consideration when it comes to the fact that you're taking care of yourself. You are putting more into your cup. And that's really what this is about. You're saying yes to yourself. This is self-care. Travel is a form of self-care. And if you even okay, for instance, when I travel, I have anxiety. So when I travel, it can be a lot. And so what I normally do is, because I know that, for instance, if I'm traveling by plane, I'm going to get to the airport 2 hours ahead. Now, I only live 5 seconds away from the airport right now. But when I tell you that I'm going to get to the airport 2 hours still ahead, is because that time for me is for me. I want to get in. I want to get my stuff situated, get my bags where it needs to be. I want to get through security. I want to find my gate. I want to make sure I have, my text messaging in case something changes with the gate or anything changes. I want to have all that situated and settled. And then I'm going to go and find myself a good breakfast or a good meal. And then I'm going to get me a cocktail, because that's what I choose to do, or a mocktail, but that's what I choose to do. And those are ways that I control my anxiety, because I know my routine for my travel, and I travel how I need to travel. And if you're traveling with other people, here's the problem that I have with traveling with other people. I don't mind it, but I tell everybody from the gate, this is how I'm traveling. I was seeing something on internet, I think it was on Instagram, and this lady was like, we need to give you a high five because you have a checked bag. Now, I have this one friend, she doesn't check her bag every single time. She tries to avoid it at all costs. And of course, I feel that, because the second you check your bag, you run the risk of your bag getting lost and doing all the things. This is why when I travel, I know it sounds bougie, but for me, I'm going to travel the less travel time as possible, which means I'm trying to get that direct flight. 90% of the time, I'm looking for direct flights only. I don't really care how much it costs. And I know that sounds bougie, and I can accept that. But the reason why is that cuts down the foolishness and the drama for me. I'm going to get the first flight out. I want the very first flight. Give me 6 o'clock, give me 7, give me 8. I want the first flight out. So if there's an issue, I could possibly get another flight later, which has never happened, praise be. So I get the first flight out, first of all. Number 2, I'm getting a direct flight. Don't want to change planes. Don't want to have all those issues. And then number 3, I'm checking my bag. I don't want to carry my bag. all around the airport while we, get gallivant in the airport. I don't want to do it. So I want my bags checked. Now, I have my one friend, she just, again, she detests this. I get that. I understand that. But for me, I like the convenience of somebody else taking that bag and praying that it gets to his location. So get an air tag, put that air tag in that bag, do all the things that you need to do, and then you need to keep it pushing. So tell people, when I'm traveling with you, I'm going to get there 2 hours. If that doesn't work for you, you need to get to the airport or however you need to get there at the time you need to get there, and we'll just see each other when we get there. We'll see each other when we get to our gates or whatever the case may be, but this is how I'm traveling. And that's just how it's going to be. The next thing is, yes, I'm going to then, again, I'm checking my bag, and if that's something you don't want to do, then so be it. And if you don't want to wait for me while I go to baggage claim, you can go ahead and get you an Uber, your car, your ride. You can do all those things, and we'll meet where we have to be, because I'm not compromising. I'm not doing that while I'm traveling. I get it. We go on a group trip, and so the purpose of us is to come together, and there's going to be some compromise. But when it comes to certain things, I'm not compromising on certain things. When it comes to how I need to travel, I'm not going to compromise. So the friend that's like, well, I'm going to go an hour. Well, baby girl, I'll be there waiting for an hour, holding the seat down for you. I'll save you a seat, sweetie, because I'm going to go where I got to go. So there are certain things you can't accommodate when it comes to other people when you travel. For my anxiety, I do what works best for me. I do take an anxiety medicine, and I don't take it just when an anxiety moment happens. I take it twice every single day. That helps me in a great way. I have other little mechanisms that I have on me so that I can use them if I get an anxiety moment that overshadows where, my level, my normal baseline. I have something just for those moments as well. And so, yeah, I plan to make sure that I'm doing what I feel needs to be done when it comes to making sure that I am prepared for travel. And so you need to do whatever you need to do while you're getting out and you're traveling, you're hitting these streets, because I know our mental health has to be number one. We have to look out for ourselves. We have to find a way to make sure that we're doing all the things that needs to be done. We need to do that. It's very imperative that you do that. And so that is one of my biggest suggestions for you. Now, if you are traveling out of the country, I need you to, research. You need to research all the things that you need to be in that country. Know the rules. Know every rule. If you can't bring certain substances in and out of the country, don't do it. It's not worth it. You need to know that. You need to also be aware of, just certain aspects of that travel. When you're in a European country, I'm going to highly suggest you get one of those anti-theft bags, because thievery is very high. Somebody is going to attempt to distract you, ask you a question while somebody else is trying to get you, and you need those anti-theft bags. I had one. My husband had one when we went to Paris. We didn't have any issues. We made sure that we had the anti-theft wallet so that they can't use any skimming devices. I had all of my things, and that's not to make you scared. Honestly, you should have that for all things. And when I'm out and about with my kids, I carry an anti-theft bag. Normally, if I don't have like my purse, I'll have an anti-theft bag on me, because again, I want to make sure that I can get from point A to point B without any issues whatsoever. And I don't want to have to worry about my safety where you're going to come and take stuff. Now, again, we can't help certain things may happen, but when it comes to things I can control, I'm going to be on that control bot. That's just where I'm going to be. So I enjoy those things. So I want you to be safe. Get the safety anti-theft bags, the anti-theft wallets. Make sure you have all the things. Make sure you have converters for your electronics when you're traveling out of the country, because sometimes they need to be converted. I have this one where you can get it from Amazon, and I actually have it in my Amazon store, where you literally can get one that has a bag that has most countries that have a converter issue that needs to be changed. It'll convert right over. And so those are things to help you to make sure that you have all the things that you need. But you want to travel, you want to get out, you want to be aware of your anxiety, you want to be aware of your mental health. Also, do not discount therapy. I know we're a little lighter and we're a little bit more free, but don't think for 2.3 seconds that if you had been in an active therapy session, that all of a sudden, because you're feeling better because summer's here, that you should stop your therapy. Because here's the thing, life doesn't stop at summer. It's not going to stop at winter. It's not going to stop at fall. It's not going to stop at these different seasons. And so you want to make sure that your health is under control. Mental health is health. So you want to make sure that you have the things that you need. What are the tools that your therapist has given you so that you can utilize them? What works best for you? Many times when I've been in therapy, I have listened to the things that they have said and tried to adapt certain suggestions to make them work for me, to make them work for my life and my lifestyle. You have to be aware of those things. While you're traveling and you want to think about safety, here's two things. Stop checking in when you go places. Stop checking in when you get to those places. Don't even check in after you've gotten to those places. When I went on vacation, I was on my solo trip. Nobody went on my solo trip until I was on my way back home. I began to post as if I was there in real time, even though my behind was right on my way literally to the airport. I started posting as if I was there on my way to the airport because I knew I was going to be home. Stop telling people where you're going to be. You should tell somebody where you're going to be as so that they know you for safety. Like I have, my husband can see my location. One of my best friends can see my location. Those are types of things that I can do. My kids can even see my location. There's nowhere that I'm at that my kids, there's like, oh, I don't want my kids to know. Like, where am I at? Like, what am I doing that my kids, there might be places that they can't go because they're not grown. Like, they're not grown. But what am I physically doing that I would be like, I wouldn't want them to know? Like, if you see me check in there, that's where I'm at. But stop checking in online on social media apps telling people where you are. I get it. You know, even if you're not a content creator, you want to take good pictures of your vacation. You want to show people that you're doing a thing. Wait till you get back. It's gonna still hit the same. It's gonna be even funnier. I've had times when I was posting when I went to Arizona, and I had been back, so I started slow posting things. And then I started slow checking into these same places as if I was there. And people were like, oh my God, have fun, be safe. And I'm laughing because here I am going to a content creation event. And people were like, I thought you were in Arizona. I said, that's exactly what I wanted you to think. That's the point. I'm going to post after the fact. Because I want people, first of all, I want to be able to enjoy my time without people knowing where I'm at. And I definitely don't need people knowing that, thinking or I'm not at home so they can come roll up on my house. Like, we don't need that. So think about those two things both ways in safety. What else? Oh, yes. So while you're out, always as a single person, always ask for 2 keys. They say, oh, you need 2 keys. Yes, I do. I have a guest that'll be coming in later. Always, every single time. Every single time I get 2 keys. I always put 2 adults, even though it's me. Every time I travel by myself, even if I'm here in the city, I'm going to do the same thing. Always 2 keys, always 2 adults, because it's not like they're going to charge you more for a second adult. So go ahead and hit 2 adults every single time you travel, because it lets people know, listen, if you don't think these hotels have people that's working inside of those hotels that know your move and trying to see what you're up to, you are fooling yourself. So you should also be traveling with a safety device that goes onto your hotel key, that not goes on your hotel key, but goes onto your hotel door. It jimmies, like it's almost like it jimmies the door. There's one that kind of goes in and kind of deadbolts the door so you can't get past that, because a lot of times these hotel people be having the key. They have an extra key, so you talking about, well, I'll put my key on there and I put that little bar on there. Ma'am, if they really want to get on there, that little bar ain't gonna help you. You need 2 different jimmies to put on the door so that it cannot, even if they have a key, they can't get in. And I use it every single time I travel. I use it with my family, and I use it if I travel by myself. But it gives me security to know that I can actually sleep and not have any issues. One time I was traveling somewhere and somebody did try to come into my room, but it was the maid allegedly. But either way, as she tried to come in, and you could hear her using her keys, she was trying to come in, and I'm just sitting there waiting for her on the other side of the door. Like, if you get past that, you and I fit in a rumble. But and I believe it was an honest mistake. But either way, it could have been a setup. Either how, she wasn't getting in the door. So be safe in how you travel. There are so many apps, so many apparatuses that you can put to make sure that you're safe. So think about your safety. Also be aware of yourself when you're taking a lot of photos and pictures. Take the picture and put the phone down. Don't have the phone like an constant, just kind of out and about. Like, I get it. We take, photos and things and videos when we're moving, and I get that. But also be mindful that other people could see, oh, this is a tourist person. She doesn't know where she's going. Let me try to help her. When you're at a bar, which I usually try to eat at bars when I'm by myself, when I eat at the bar, I'll say, oh, my husband was sick. He's at the room laying down or something, because, again, I don't need people in the bar to think that I'm by myself. And I don't allow other people to buy me a whole bunch of drinks and doing all this other stuff, because I don't need anybody doing anything to me while I'm out. So I'm very careful of what I drink. I'm only going to let that bartender pour me my drink. I'm going to use one of those things to put on my cup so that nobody can put anything in it. I'm going to do all the things, because you have to think that is just safety method. But just because you're thinking about your safety, just because you're moving a little different, doesn't mean that you can't have fun. So I know that a lot of times, again, when you travel by yourself it can feel weird, because if you're with somebody else, you have somebody kind of take your photos, take your videos, you have all those different things. When I took some of those some of the bus tours and some of the guided tours while I was in Sedona, because everybody on that tour, it was a very small tour. They usually don't move it past 10, and those are the smaller tours I like. Because you get more intimate connections with the people who are giving the tour, and my tour guide was amazing, hilarious in every way. But when you get a smaller tour, those people, they're more than willing, like, you want me to take your picture for you? They'll do it, because then it's more controlled instead of just asking random people to take it. So be aware of your surroundings, be aware of your safety, take care of your mental health. Again, I kind of stress, I know summertime people are more lighter, but life does not stop at the summer. So there are things that can and will happen to you or during the time of the summer. And so you're going to want to make sure that you do all the things to try to maneuver that. You want to get around that. You want to maneuver that. And so I want you to take care of you. I want you to take care of you for the summer. Okay. Whatever that means to you. If that means making sure that you eat, and let me just say, it's getting hotter outside, I want y'all to cook a little smarter. So in the summertime, my husband usually does like a lot of grilling. And when we do the grilling, we just grill a bunch of stuff, and then I just put it in a silver pan. We wrap that up, and we just kind of eat that throughout the week. Also, my crock pots and we go together. My air fryer and we go together. I try to not use my stove as often, just because, again, it's hot and I want to keep the AC in my house going without issues. Whatever you have to do to cook smarter, but I want you to make sure that you're eating. I want you to increase your fluid intake, because yes, you're going to be, we outside, and you're drinking, you're doing all these things, but don't forget to drink some water. Don't forget to take care of yourself. Don't forget to get some movement in your life and into your world. I want you to move something. Get up and move. Get up and do. Again, I can't stress enough. A lot of the things that needs to happen is going to be about learning how to lean into the things that concern you. And when you do that, making it so that you can feel good about what it is that you have going on. Like, I want you to feel that. I want you to have that, because it's important to take care of you during this summer. We are in summertime vibes, and it's important for us to make sure that, as light as we want to be, as fun as we want it to be, as happy as we want it to be, there are still people that are struggling. You might be one of them, but taking care of you will be the best thing that could ever happen. So take care of yourself. Make sure you do all the things. Find a way to stop saying, I'm bored, I don't have nothing to do. Like, get on your Google. You're already on your phone. You're always on your phone. Use that phone, utilizing. And I want you to get creative. Get your kids to be creative. Like I said, I gave them full access to my Canva Pro, and it's amazing of the things that their young minds are seeing, and they get to use the app in a completely different way. Like, when I use it, I'm using it for business. I'm using it to create something and still being creative, but creating it for business. But when my kids are using it, they're just letting their creative mind go. So whatever they're thinking about, whatever it is that they're wanting to do, they just do. There's no hidden agenda. They can just be creative. And you may not be a content creator, but you can just get on some of these apps and just create. If you are sitting here and you keep saying, I am going to start this business I want to start doing A, B, and C. This is the summer to start writing and doing and putting plans in motion right now. Maybe you're not ready to take it off the ground right now, but if you can do anything with it, I want you to start it now. Especially if it's an online business, I want you to start building that brand now. A lot of things, people think that you can just build a brand overnight, or if you have a viral post that's going to help you. It's only going to get you in front of the eyes, but what you're going to do once you get them. You have to have some other content ready to go. And trust me, once you start it, you're going to have to keep going. You're going to have to be consistent. But for now, I need you to be creative. I get it. Adults, we are paying bills. Sometimes our marriages is on the rocks. Sometimes we don't even have a marriage. We just trying to figure out who we going to get married to. We all got all these different levels of things. Everybody's at their own place at different times of their lives. But at the end of the day, I want us to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to take care of us. So we're going to get out, we're going to travel, we're going to do something for ourselves, we're going to create, we're going to read, we're going to do all the things because we are now in our full summertime vibe. So with that, this is the last episode of Toy Time Blog of season 10. We will be back for season 11, and I will make that announcement for when we return. But for now, I get to create more content by doing I'm still going to be taping because that's just what I do. So I will be taping, having the guests do their taping in this little space that we have for our break, but I get to enjoy a break. With this podcast, it doesn't take a lot of time, but it does take the time to make sure that you edit and do all these different things. So I get to have a little break from editing and break from having to be like, oh, I got to get my episode up. I don't have to do that because we're on a break. So while we are on a break, I'm still going to pop in. If you follow me on all the social medias, which I hope that you do, I'm going to drop everything in the show notes like I usually do. But for now, just know it's Toy Time Blog, ToiTimeBlog, where you can follow and see all the things that I'm getting myself into for the summer. I've already done brand trips, a few of them. I'm hoping to do a few more. Listen, I'm trying to be outside, but I'm going to be outside safe. I'm going to be outside taking care of me. I'm going to be outside checking and making sure that I'm good in every area that I'm in. And I want you to do the same. It's going to be a great summer. I wish you a great and happy summer. Again, if something pops up and it's just too good for me to just leave on the table and I got to come back and speak, then you already know we're going to pop up with a bonus. We always find a way to pop up with some type of bonus episode. So thank you for listening to Conversations with Toy. I love you. I'm sending all the good vibes your way. Have the most amazing summer. Take care of your children. Help somebody else take care of their kids. Listen, you know that there's a single parent and he may not be able to afford certain things. You know what the beautiful thing you could do? You could gift them a season pass for the summer. So a lot of these places have season summer passes, like not just for the full year, but for the summer. Get them a season pass somewhere so he can take those kids out and let them jump and let them play and let them run. Gift that to somebody. If one person gifted another family that, everybody would have the most amazing summer as possible. So thank you for listening. I love you for listening. Y'all have been running them numbers up and I appreciate you. Have a good summer. I will be back as always. Season 11 will be on the works and I'm changing some of the format. So I'm telling you right now, I'm changing some of the format. We are going to start having some segments. It still will run the same where I'm still giving you conversation, first from me, then we will always go into our guests, but I'm also going to be doing segments. Yes, curated segments that you can count on for every episode. And so I'm going to give you the names of those new segments. I'm going to have all the breakdowns for those new segments, and they will be added segments that will be into season 11. When you know better, you do better. And every season I want to do something different. And in this season 11, we're adding some segments. So I'm going to give you all the things. That's going to be a lot of fun. At least I hope that's how you receive it. And thank you for rocking out. And this is Conversations with Toy.
Thank you as always for joining me, and I know that even in the deepest or joyful conversations that there's something we can learn and apply. Until next time, I hope that you are doing better. If not, we will be back to talk some more and handle it. Peace to you and yours. Stay grounded.